Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
Did you know that we have a Patreon page?
Yes.
Please support us at patreon.com/retroam and gain early access to episodes or bonus content or mini-series things that we've produced. Please check it out. It's awesome. Would you like to hear some hot sounds that I recorded?
Please.
Okay. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast about Xenogears. Let us join together and unravel the mystery of Shakespearean demises with our animal friends. My name is Chris.
Oh, hey, what's up, man? I'm Eric.
Hey, Eric. Thanks for joining me tonight. It's good to see you again. It's been a long time. It's been a whole week, I guess.
Thanks, Mark.
Shepherd.
Thanks, Mark.
Shepherd.
We're on to the next episode. Disc 2. How are you feeling about Disc 2? I feel great about it.
I feel wonderful about it. It's not really affecting the format of our podcast very much because our podcast is more about trying to sort through the lore and imagery as opposed to the pure mechanics.
Yeah, that's true. I do wish we had a dungeon sequence for the nuclear warhead facility, and I wish we had the ability to see the Ramses v. Ellie sequence in real time. But other than that, I'm feeling okay about it.
Those are two biggest regrets. Although I feel like my notes have extended from being 2 or 3 pages an episode to like 7.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a whole lot happening that we need to debate and discuss.
And it's happening quickly. This
time the chapter is called The Stars Know.
Oh, do they?
Do you want to pick out the real name?
Yes.
Soul and stars. Alert the stars. Our vessels of souls.
Our vessels of souls.
That's correct, Chris.
Wow. So did they get the Stars Know and Soul Vessel mixed up a little bit?
I think so. I don't know if the study guide did or if the localization team did.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure.
It doesn't matter because I was right. So now...
That's the first one Chris has got in like, what, a month?
A month. Or 2 weeks, depending on how you look at it. So, we're in the next Animal Relic dungeon.
Yes, there's dripping noises. This is a cave-ass cave.
Stereo
cave.
Stereo dripping.
Stereo dripping.
More stereo dripping.
Initializing fake net.
This podcast is produced in mono.
Eric, I know that this next section has going to have to do with Rico because I've played this game before and this is one of the few things that I remember. So guess what, Eric?
You brought Rico?
I'm bringing Rico.
Okay, so was this a worse decision than bringing Maria the last time?
No. Maria sucks on foot. Rico's bad, but he's not
doesn't
that
he miss
bad.
half his attacks?
Yes, and he's slow.
But
even after he gets his better thing.
He's still slow?
He's still slow.
I wouldn't know. I don't use him.
Yeah.
So we see a familiar face here immediately. This dungeon starts off exactly like the other dungeon started off.
Yes, it is Shopkeeper Johnny.
He's got a slogan this time. Do you
Shopkeeper of the Johnny Tribe. No.
Yeah. He says, if you say dungeons, I say traveling merchants.
Oh.
You say traveling merchants, I say shopkeep Johnny.
Okay. I mean, this is a dungeon. I mean, again, how'd he get here? Has he always been here?
Chris, he fucked me.
He followed us?
He fucked me.
Okay.
I went to buy parts from him, and I brought Billy with me this time because Billy's got the new gear.
Yeah.
Right? And then shopkeep Johnny has a Matchlock GG gun that is AA for Billy. And it says, you know how when you try to look up new parts, it'll say inventory 0 or 1?
Yeah.
You know what I learned?
What?
If it's equipped, it's inventory 0.
Oh.
How about that?
He owned you.
I bought this very expensive gun, again, for no reason. And guess what you can't do?
Dual wield?
Sell it back. You can't dual wield, and you can't sell it back for the original price either.
Oh, well.
So, not an honest merchant. Saw me wearing it, saw Billy behind me holding it, and was like, yeah, I'll sell you another one.
Maybe he absorbs the aura from the scene around him, and he already feels Hammer coming. Maybe.
The other great supplier of wares.
Yes, indeed. So, this section, it's weird.
It's a cave.
It's definitely a cave. I decided to go ahead and jump down that pit and open some treasure chests and get a few incidental items.
There's some stuff down there. I think there's like a Zetasol and then a beast coat or something down there.
Yep. Then I didn't know what to do. So I jumped back up and I said, wow, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to push this rock. And I pushed the rock.
You physically run your sprite into the rock and the rock moves.
Yeah, it's like bashing that door open in the Reaper ship.
Yes.
Or moving the meat.
Yeah, or pushing the junk into the fan.
Yeah, that's true.
Great physics system.
Indeed.
But this is not where the... Oh, did you get any fights out here?
Yeah, a couple of fights. The first thing I ran into was a Tusk.
Tusk.
Which is not a... I thought it was like a... Tusk sounds like maybe it's like a weird elephant man, and it's a weird elephant man. That's what it is.
It's like a green elephant thing, and it has cudgel hands.
Yeah, sure.
They appear to share HP or something, because I wailed on one, and then it took forever to kill, and the other one got killed in the next hit.
Oh, didn't notice that.
So I don't know what their deal is, but they have a lot of HP, and they did something, like I had to keep going back to Shopkeep Johnny, because they would take down too much of my health.
I started escaping at some point.
Yeah, so did I too. I was like, there's no reason to do any of this stuff. I did that later in the dungeon.
Also, the Croaker Tribe lives here.
Fucking Croaker Tribe.
Before we talk about the mechanics of fighting the Croaker Tribe, how does the Croaker Tribe survive in this dungeon?
How some well-decorated spearmen who are toad people down here?
Do you think that there was going to be a whole Croaker Tribe section of this game? They're like, we don't have time for that. We're going to put them down here.
Because I think this is the only place you see their sprite, at least so far, right? Like, these are unique to this one dungeon.
Yeah, they probably...
Have they been here forever? Are they from like 2 civilizations ago?
Did they experience the same problems of Solaris, where they did never have ample produce because they have to ship it in from above?
Yeah.
Who knows? But they're here.
It's funny you mentioned about fighting them, because I didn't. I interpreted this as their native zone.
So you're no colonial.
I'm the colonial stomping around on their territory, and I shouldn't even be here. Why would I murder them? I'm not going to repeat the sins of my ancestors.
That's a good point.
But
although
you decided to murder them. Apparently.
I did, because I was like, maybe I can get a couple more death bolts for Rico.
So you were out of your gear fighting these guys?
Yeah, because there's a point when you have to do that. So
okay, yeah.
So anyway, you push that rock and you gain access to a room that you have to enter with just your little dudes outside
it's a tiny, you push aside the rock and it's this cave, but it is definitely a machined door.
Yes, it is.
Through.
I would call this room the Room of Pillars.
Yeah, I put Ancient Pillar Room.
Sure. One rock will drop down after pressing a button behind the pillar. There are clues everywhere.
Hold on. When you saw this, did you have any flashbacks?
No, I had no memory of this whatsoever.
I hate this shit.
It sucks.
I hate this shit.
It's bad.
So there are 3 holes in the back of it that need 3 stones. And what you have to do to make these stones fall out of the ceiling is fucked up.
Yeah.
So like Chris said, around on all the pillars are clues. The clues are looking at the back of one pillar.
Yeah.
One says, the truth is back there. And another says, 4 steps south, 10 steps west.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, if you take 4 steps south and 10 steps west, you land on a little hitch in the geometry.
Sometimes.
Now, there is a way to get this to work 100% of the time.
Oh yeah? How's that?
According to the game FAQ's user, Shakanova, who wrote the best FAQ on this game, if you go in there and read all the clues on the walls, all the clues on the pillars, but don't trigger any rocks, and then go touch that little trigger on the wall, then that one will fall 100% of the time.
Okay, so we're out here doing some Last Crusade shit.
Yes. One of them requires you to stand on a previously fallen rock, jump on the pillar, and then jump higher to get it to trigger.
I didn't know that, and I'd already put the other 2 rocks in there. Oh. So I had to leave the room and come back and do it all over again.
Well, what I did was I made all 3 drop and be like, oh, okay, that's what I was supposed to do. So I left the room. And then nothing happened. Then I was
didn't push them in the holes.
Then I had to go back in there and couldn't figure out how to get the 3rd one to trigger again. So that's when I consulted the game FAQ.
This stuff is inscrutable.
Yes, it's
like, how were we supposed? How did you figure this out when you were a kid? Did you have any idea?
I had no memory of this whatsoever.
Like, what I assumed I would have had to have done before I asked my mom if I could use the internet was just brute force this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's no pass through this. But once you actually get it, you have to push the rocks in holes. And you know what the first thing I thought of here?
What's that?
When curling got introduced back into the Olympics in 1998.
I have a question, off-topic question. Is curling in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games? Or they have a separate winter one, right?
They didn't for Korea because of weird Japan-Korea relations. The last one was in Sochi.
Yeah, you're right. It did.
And for Wii U, and I don't remember if it was in that one.
It is, actually, because my kids watch that on YouTube sometimes. Okay.
Find my review on digitalchumps.com.
Thank you.
Of the Sochi one. So yeah, assuming you curl all of these things in the holes, this makes 2 pillars in the Chris zone where he jumped in the pit.
Yeah.
These 2 stalagmites, like pillar thing, like impossible stone structures, loosen and then collapse into each other perfectly, which seems like it had to be a lot of trial and error to design.
Yeah, it does not seem like it was designed in a sensible way.
You can do this once.
It feels random.
Yeah.
But also, we've got a game to play.
Yeah. So we really can't focus on that too much. Like, I imagine the wrong kind of party member would be like, no, we need to study the mechanisms of this and see how it happens.
Did you have Citan with you?
Of course.
Okay, I did as well. But I can imagine if there was time to write more incidental dialogue, Citan would have had something to say about this.
Yeah.
I brought Citan and Rico, obviously, yes. Who was your... Oh, Ellie. You're sticking with Ellie.
Yeah, I'm not
Core
deviating.
party. Okay.
Yeah.
So
we go to a water cavern.
Yes, you have to get out of your gears to do that like edge walking stuff that became popular in the Uncharted series.
Yes.
You can get
on some ledges.
You can get into some random battles here, and if you have to... at one point, like, I forgot to equip Rico with the most recent gear, so everybody was getting...
Well, by gear, you mean equipment, like armor?
Yes, items, accessories. So I was about to get owned, and I was like, oh shit, I don't want to have to do that rock pillar puzzle again. So I summoned my gears. Yeah. And then defeated the Croaker Tribe. And then when I went back out of battle, I was still on that ledge where the gears do not fit, and the gears were not there.
Were they back where you left them?
Yes.
Okay, I bet the first time they made this game, it fucked up and clipped real bad, and then they had to go bug fix that.
Yeah, because we know gears can't go in water, even though we got the bathyscapes now. How come we can't use our bathyscapes here, Eric? We
had to lose that. They had to make the Yggdrasil 4. It had some rare parts. They had to oil it.
That's what made his hat that fell from the sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. That was our bathyscape. Somebody flattened it out.
Then we get to like a little control room sort of thing. On the other side, there's a painting on the wall. Did you look at the painting on the wall?
Is that the thing that said, "Fear not the darkness of the walls of the pit, for if you keep moving forward, the path you will find"?
No.
Fuck.
It was just some environmental storytelling stuff. If you I looked at it in a couple different ways. I looked at it with artificial scan lines in, so it would kind of dim the edges a little bit. And then I looked at it in high res, and it looks to me like it is a mural that sort of harkens back to that mural or that tapestry that Bart showed us way back when. But it is
in Bart's room?
Yeah, in Bart's hideout.
Okay.
But it's like a demon gear face thing with a lot of steam coming out.
I missed this entirely.
And then there were a couple of people standing in front of it, and then another person kind of floating off in the background.
Was this like a mosaic, or was it just okay?
It was like a mural of some sort, and it was just there, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It would make sense if this anima relic was hidden by some sort of ancient tribe that had to write on walls to...
Such as a Croaker Tribe?
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe it was written by the Croaker Tribe. Okay, that makes more sense, because it definitely wasn't written by the Zeboim, because they have MS-DOS, so they don't they don't need to write a mural. So
they don't have computer-aided drafting.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we get there, and then we go into the next room with some treasure chests where you can fall down holes.
Yes.
And
which is definitely more Last Crusade stuff. If you spell Jehovah wrong.
Indeed.
Jehovah begins with an I.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Indiana Jones stuff going on in this cave.
So if you fall through a hole, you go to a kind of a stone shaft, and you instantly go back up and pop out a secret door on the side.
Yep.
How did you figure out what you were supposed to do here?
Well, I went to www.gamefaqs.com because it was getting late and I needed to go to bed because I had to work today. So when I was doing this last night, specifically from when we recorded this, I checked it out and I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to have to do. But I did read the clue and I was like, okay, that makes sense. So you have to fall down.
The thing about fear, not the darkness of the walls. The thing I read, that was the clue?
Yes. Okay. You have to basically fall down one of the shafts and press forward and land in like a little crevice.
We call that the Solaris garbage dump maneuver, because you do the exact same thing.
We had less hints back then.
Yes. And it's also way more obscured now. Again, this is something that I can see myself doing 100 times when I was younger, not understanding what is happening.
God, I seriously have no memory of this whatsoever.
I don't either. I mean, you have got to think, that was, for me, easily 600 games ago.
Yeah.
Like, it
was probably a good 200 for me, so yeah.
There's a lot in there, the bits that are stored into, I'll have an existential crisis if I keep thinking about that. So
Stop thinking.
Done. Out.
Don't think.
Don't want to think about Xenogears. So
too late.
Yeah.
So you get through that area and the ceiling begins to drop.
The sky falls.
What do you do when the sky's falling and there's spikes coming? You do what?
Well, you certainly don't jump to that safe-looking platform.
Well, that's what I did, and it says, show some courage and stand your ground, motherfucker.
Wow, it said motherfucker.
No, but it should have. And then if
you fail this, you go back in that mine shaft, right?
Yeah.
You have to do the whole thing again?
Yep. So
what are you supposed to do?
Well, you're supposed to stand there.
Yeah.
Until the ceiling comes down that you can use as a lift to get to the top.
You can't necessarily rotate the camera to see that there's a big hole in the center of it, so it looks pretty lethal. It's some Sen's Fortress type shit from Dark Souls.
Yeah. Now, what do you do if you stand there and the ceiling collapses and you stop taking notes about Xenogears and then it goes back up?
You wait for it to do it again, because I did the exact same thing.
Mine never came back down.
It didn't?
Maybe I didn't wait long enough.
Yeah, it's a pretty long reset. Did you jump down the hole again?
Yeah, I jumped down the hole and then went back around, yeah.
It's only set up to do it as soon as you walk in the room.
It's funny that happened to both of us.
Yeah. Yeah,
oh, man.
My hour count now I think is like 72 or something like that, because I've spent, I don't know if the clock keeps ticking when you hit the pause button. So, in the next room is my favorite puzzle in all of video games.
Oh, the water level math puzzle.
Yes, the Die Hard 3 bomb is exploding water level puzzle.
So when I got here, I was like, oh, it's a water level puzzle. My favorite kind of puzzle, but it's not really a water level. It's not a water temple puzzle like Ocarina of Time.
Sir, I haven't played a Zelda game.
What?
Listen!
I didn't play that game.
What?
Dork. Nerd.
You don't know what the water temple...
I've heard people say it's a bad thing. I didn't play Ocarina of Time. Oh, a game where I can't jump. Great idea.
I like how that's your criticism.
It was. I tried it and I was like, why can't you fucking jump? And then I saw him do it automatically and I said, fuck this.
Also, you haven't played
Metal Gear Solid.
You haven't played Breath of the Wild either. You can jump in that.
I played that game for 12 hours. Didn't like it.
It's good.
Didn't like it.
It's a good video game.
I recognize that. I didn't like the game.
Okay. It's a good game, Eric.
Break all my fucking weapons. Break your fucking video game and play that shit again.
It's a good game.
Yeah, whatever.
It's my third favorite game from the past decade. So yeah, this math water puzzle. How do you do it?
You go to www.gamefacts.com and look up there's buttons with 3 marks and 7 marks on each side indicating how much the water level will rise or drop. And then there's 2 switches in the center to raise and lower that water level. So I understand the mechanics of this and about how you can essentially move it one by one by switching from 7 to 3. What the fuck is my objective?
Well, I think there's a note on the wall or something about happy medium, getting it in the clue of happy medium is getting it to a 5.
Okay, well, I wasn't smart enough to figure that out.
I couldn't find that note either. That's what the game FAQ said.
Okay.
So I have no idea, but the goal is to get to 5. And you have to get to 5 by either adding or subtracting multiples of, or
7 and 3
increments.
and 7 and 3 and
yeah, increments.
It just seems more time. Like, this stuff could have been actually okay. Like the other one, if it was telegraphed with more than a line and a half of vague tutorial masquerading as flavor text.
That's the difference between games then and games now. Games then, you had to be smart. Games now just make you feel smart.
That's right.
So here we are.
If there was a remake of Xenogears, you would definitely get a trophy for solving this in 10 seconds. It'd be a time-based trophy.
Yeah.
A missable trophy.
Yeah. Shout out to Cad Money.
Yeah, he could do it.
So then you go in the path that is revealed from this.
It has a unique sound effect as the water drains from this whole thing. And it also drains the water outside.
Indeed.
At the bottom is actually where you get the beastly robe.
And I think you get an ether doubler as well.
And a king's helm.
Those
are both in the big cavern once you push the big boulder aside and get back out to where our gears are.
Indeed. Once we get through there, we can hop out of our gears and enter another door.
I love doors.
Doors are great because it means something's about to happen, maybe. And now we get another Zeboim-like area, although it's not Zeboim because this is older than Zeboim, I believe.
Sure, maybe they stole their architectural inspirations from the same people.
Probably. We must be nearing that chamber because there's pressure locks coming.
Yes.
3 of them.
Another set of 3 with those excellent steambolt noises.
Steambolt.com. Okay, then guess what? Guess what's inside? Rico's already with me.
Sorry.
Rico's not inside.
It's another pulsing anima relic.
Yes, indeed. I noticed the first time we saw an anima relic, I didn't notice the rectangular object in the middle, the save point looking thing. This time I noticed it. So.
Oh, you didn't even notice it was there last time?
No.
That made me wonder if it was like tech adapted, since the guys will already have some, if they adapted the save cube technology from that same stuff. It's making the same sound effects.
Yeah.
It looks the same. It's like maybe they found one and chopped it up and put it in different places throughout the world.
That's a neat way to think about it. I think there actually may be some congruence there.
So in mine, Rico came out of nowhere and said, so ancient people worshipped meaningless things too, huh?
Yeah, he said that with me too. Ellie came out of nowhere in my circumstance because I didn't have her with me. So
it's communicating with Rico. He doesn't like it. He wants it out of his head.
Yeah, it gets all up in his head. and explodes with lightning and all the whatnots that happen when you sync with an animal relic.
Yeah, it flashes a preview of his upgraded Omni gear.
Yeah, I like his Omni gear.
And Rico says he's seen that shape somewhere before.
Yeah, what is he talking about?
I think means he meant to say gear, like form maybe was a better word.
Oh.
But they chose shape.
Okay, sure.
Shape up.
Shape up.
Shape up.
So, we leave. We're like, let's go check. I think Faye is like, let's go check that shit out.
Yeah, let's go figure it out.
And as we leave, we see something.
The camera is positioned in the depths below as a presence comes up to meet us.
Indeed.
It's very horror movie-like. There's a wild boost sound effect followed by the trademark creepy sound cue.
Yes, spooky noises reveal that our old pal, our old friend Hammer is here. He has a new portrait, which I would describe as a metal with a little bit of tuft of hair popping out.
I couldn't tell if that was hair or like tubes that were plugged into his face.
Yeah, it's
gray and green. And it looks like he has stuff plugged into it. And there's like a little bit revealed with his eye, but his eye's also been replaced.
Yeah.
And he says, what's he say?
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
He's in a gear with no feet, and it looks like a spinning top, and his hands are doing jerk-off motions.
Yeah. Faye, do you have what Faye says? Faye asks him what he's doing in that outfit.
Yeah, he says outfit.
Which is...
Hammer replies, I was finally able to get it. Super strength. Just like you, bro. It feels so good. Being one with your gear. Krellian did this for me. Anyway, just leave the gear and Miss Ellie for me. Resistance is useless.
I would call the treatment that Hammer has received, I would dub it the rattan.
The rattan 3.0?
Yeah, he's been given the rattan.
Well, yeah, you have to understand, rattan's probably been in that a long time, which is why he's doing his weird face rotation thing, because it's starting to get to him.
Yeah.
Whereas Hammer is still pretty into the novelty aspect of this whole process.
Very true.
He just feels the power. He doesn't, it's like when you're doing the good drugs and not the next day after you do the good drugs.
In addition to like the perfect or semi-perfect robot body that Hammer has received, he's also received something similar to what Rattan received, which is an elegance of polite speech.
Yes.
Because he politely asked us to hand over Ellie.
He's always been respectful and called her Miss Ellie.
He has, but he politely asked the whole party to like hand her over.
Yeah, he says, resistance is useless. I'm much too powerful for you now. And Hammer is the 10th guy to say he's too powerful for us and to stand down.
Yes, the gear surgery has definitely made him both polite and sort of, maybe not narcissistic, but like he's got some confidence.
So Faye asks again what Hammer is doing, and Hammer decides the only way to handle this is with a show of force.
Indeed.
What is the only... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, Hammer says to Rico, even you, champ, won't win against me now.
Yeah. The only piece of advice Rico has here, he just tells him to stop it.
Yeah, stop it. Stop it.
Stop it. Stop it.
Fucking stop it, Hammer.
Stop it, fucker.
Fuse plays.
Fuse plays. This is... weird, because Fuse has never been really used as a boss battle, except for during the Bloody Bros battle, which is kind of optional, so it's weird.
Hammer has a whole bunch of gel attacks, and he also does self-modification, and as this happens, he grows back antlers, and then a snake tail, then snake arms, and then back tentacles.
Yes.
His gear evolves.
Scorpion tail thing, too, or somewhere in there?
Yeah, like a scorpion tail.
Yeah, at first I was like, Hammer's gear is sad and pathetic looking. I remember him being at least somewhat imposing.
It's really small. It's smaller than you remember. It's almost like an upgraded like exosuit.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit more bulky, kind of like the Aachen shell or something of that nature, but it's not.
We have an upcoming series of problems here.
Okay, yeah.
How'd this battle go for you?
Well, as Hammer became an increasingly more amazing Scorpion...
Yeah. Scorpion, not from Mortal Kombat.
No, robot Scorpion.
Yes.
I realized that, first of all, Rico sucks, because I have Rico's Omni gear now.
Yeah.
And he still sucks.
He doesn't have any like new special attacks or anything?
Well, because I don't have enough death blows to really do much.
Well, no, but I mean like the special attacks like System Mid or...
I don't think so.
Okay.
And Citan I have Citan with me here, and he's doing a lot of damage, and he's getting like 2 or 3 turns before Hammer even gets 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, I'm like, fuck. I brought Rico here for narrative purposes, but it was bad.
You took one for the team here. Chris definitely suffered more in this.
I did.
Chris, I had a worse time.
You did?
So I brought Billy because he had the brand new gear.
Yeah.
And he's got a move called Jesse Cannon, which does a shitload of damage.
Yeah.
I also have Ellie, who has air odds, which still do a shitload of damage. That's how much combined damage both of those attacks did.
How much?
Big fat fucking 0.
Oh. So you have elemental properties?
No. Let me read you what I found when I Googled this. He does have very high ether defense.
Okay.
But I was doing 0 damage even when I put on ether boosting material. So I Googled it, and I found... Vilrillium, 10 years ago at GameFAQs, basically, when you go into the tune-up shopping screen, it resets, it's the glitch. It resets the gear's ether amp to the actual value. It isn't used again until you pop in the menu and look at the gear equipment status. This forces the game to actually think about what the gear has equipped and what the ether amp numbers should be.
Oh.
Once it does that, go back to using the real number again, next time until you go shopping. So it's some kind of glitch after you shop or refuel or some shit like that.
Can this happen to anybody?
I don't know, because I did the fix, and then the next battle I reset, still did 0 damage. I couldn't get any of these fuckers to do damage. So, nobody did damage for me in this fucking fight.
I tried Thor Wave with Faye, and I did 0.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Hammer does have high ether defense, but it shouldn't be 0.
Yeah. Weird. So I did system id and sick combos with Sidon because he's really good. I had the Kishin sword on, so I was really powerful. And eventually, Hammer gets to the point where he has a really bad feeling about this.
He doesn't feel so good.
Yeah, he doesn't feel so good. He turns red. He starts glowing a little bit. And he gives you several hints that you need to escape this battle.
Yes, and what you should do is escape.
Yes, because I think that's what gets you the traitor card, right?
No.
Oh.
Defeating him gets the traitor card.
Oh, defeating him. Okay.
You have to do like 32,000 damage in 5 turns or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think you pretty much have to have both Billy and Sidon here because they have Omnigears and they are the most powerful.
Yeah, or air odds if they're supposed to work, or Jesse Cannon if they worked. But I tried this several times and I couldn't get Sidon or Billy to infinity mode.
Oh yeah.
So without doing that, there's no way to do that kind of sustained damage. And then system mid was always off, and I kept getting frustrated. And I just rather than run or win, I just took it, and Hammer self-destructed and killed everybody except for Faye.
Initializing fake net.
And you get 1 experience point.
And the scene plays out exactly the same no matter what you do, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure because I didn't kill him.
Oh, okay.
No matter. So, by the way, the trader card, if you beat him, it increases your rare item drop rate.
Yeah. I think that's something that you can use later in the game to get some rare drops for Sidon, maybe.
I usually spend the last half of my game at Dune Man's Isle trying to get speed shoes.
Yeah.
So that would have made that faster.
Sure. So, next thing that happens as Hammer, starts to, or as the battle is over, as you escape the battle, Tears of the Stars, Hearts of the People begins to play.
Yes.
And Hammer begins to lament the fact that he is still not stronger than Bro.
Yeah, his bro is still too strong.
He tells Rico to go back to Nortune because he's next in line to be the Kaiser, which is something that we can obviously tell, but there is an explicit reference to that.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if we would have been able to execute this subplot.
Yeah, this is clearly Rico's round 2 of plot development, and he's got 4 or 5 lines.
Yeah, and he probably the real round 2 would be going back to Nortune
and figuring that out.
For a reason and figuring that out. But nonetheless,
it's funny. Rico is surprised Hammer knows that, to which Hammer replies, briefly flashing back to his old self. He says, "Don't underestimate the power of my information network."
Yeah, that's a cool line. Then Hammer falls to his death and wonders if, did he deserve this? And I don't think Hammer deserved this. I feel sorry for Hammer here.
He says he's a bit player and this is the end. He's never been good enough. But, his gear falls into the abyss. So Xenogears Episode 6, Return of Hammer.
Sure, yeah.
You don't see a body, show me the body.
Faye then continues to narrate via the way he always narrates.
Faye gets back in the chair.
He does.
There's a JPEG of the gears looking at Hammer's descent.
He says that Hammer disappeared into the chasm with a look of satisfaction, and he wonders if that was because he got he finally got his brief moment of superpowers or whatever, or was this just relief from the pain that was brought on by his mutation?
I think it's a little column A, a little column B.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe half and half.
Faye says if there could have been a better way around it, and he says he felt like fighting was futile.
Yeah, and that's the first time Faye is like,
maybe I shouldn't fight people.
Maybe I shouldn't just beat ass all the time. Faye is
so couldn't y'all have just gone around him? He wasn't really threatening anyone.
Yeah, we tend to grade Faye on a curve a little bit because he is Faye, but this is some relatively complex interiority from Faye here in terms of his reaction to this particular situation.
Yeah.
And then he talks about how Ellie was very upset, and he begins to realize that Faye himself does not want Ellie to fight any longer.
Yeah, for some reason he goes complete kind of weird chauvinistic hero here by not wanting his girlfriend, who is a more capable fighter in my opinion, to be in battles.
Yes. Now it is time to move to the next scene, which is introduced to us in our ears with clocks ticking and pendulums swinging.
There's our final trip to the JPEG room.
Yes, our eyes see the JPEGs spinning as well. And Ramses is here. He's standing next to Kane, in that same sort of like platform that we thought that Citan was astral projecting from.
It
but
appears
maybe
to be a physical place in Ramses' presence.
Indeed. His sword is drawn as well. And Cain says, "What do you want, Ramses?"
And after he says that, Cain just glows magenta for some reason.
Yeah, he's like, I think he's initiating his power. He's bringing it on.
Yeah.
Ramses says, "If you didn't exist," and then Ramses now...
Like, it's that obsession, if you didn't exist thing, that he's clearly projecting toward Cain now, like someone that he could feasibly take down. Yeah,
and appears that he has been fully convinced that he needs to remove Cain, and somehow does some sort of thing that neutralizes Cain's power.
Yeah, killing Cain will allow Ramses to beat Faye, which is his ultimate mission. I don't know how that works.
Sure.
If there's a power transfer there or what.
Krillian pops in from above and says that Ramses was made to be able to do this. This was the moment that he was created for, according to Krillian. And Krillian then goes on to say that he doesn't care about the group of old geezers who are obsessed with clinging to their dear little lives when Cain, I think he sort of prosecutes Krillian here as a subordinate of the Gazel Ministry, but Krillian's like, no, fuck that. I don't care about these old motherfuckers. I'm here for another reason. Cain seems to have been under the impression this whole time that Krillian was working to extend humanity, but Krillian says he's doing things his own way. So I guess Cain never really quite understood what Krillian's motivations were at this point.
Or that they shifted. But at some point before the grand finale, did Ramses' hovering platform thing get closer and then like kind of poke at Cain a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Like there's some initiating contact there where he's kind of testing his boundaries?
Yeah. Krillian turns his back then, right?
Yeah, he turns around.
Yeah.
After he says, "Your existence extracts me for reaching my goal," that's all.
He says, "Kill him, Ramses," not Ramses. It's Ramses in quotes. Yeah, and I don't know if it's a typo or if he's specifically like trying. Like if this is supposed to be a badass line of like, oh, the Ramses name is a reference to Ramses, the pharaohs. But I
think that's too big of a reach. But then again, this game references
everything.
Everything.
Quotes. It's in quotes when he says Ramses.
But there's a lot of spelling. I don't know.
All right, we'll have to check that out sometimes.
Initializing fake net.
In the original Japanese version, he is known as Carlin Ramses.
Ramses then owns Cain's head off?
Yeah. He drives a sword into Cain with a unique pixel animation that I haven't seen yet. And then it does the glass break sound effect from Old Mason's Omen when he dropped the glass. Mm-hmm. It's the exact same one. And then Cain's head, like, mask falls off as the wind noises howl and scream.
Yeah.
And then Cain's head, if you zoom in, is like a black matte visage with small slots for eyes. Like, I don't know if that was a decaying mist of where his head used to be or if he actually cut his head off in that helmet thing.
Weird. The JPEGs begin to fall.
Yeah.
The JPEGs have fallen.
That's it. Cain's done.
The JPEGs are down.
Cain has exited the building.
It's interesting how as soon as we begin to develop a positive opinion of Cain because of his sort of real intentions were revealed to us through his conversations with Citan, he then gets owned.
Yeah. He's done.
We will not get...
presumably that's it. Like, I was just like, I guess he's dead.
Yeah. We will not get Cain in our party.
Cain had less screen time than I feel like I remembered in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But only in 5 or 6 scenes.
Yeah. I think we're going to see more of him later, though, in flashbacks, though.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That could be where I'm remembering that.
So, then it fades away, and we are now into a Gazel Ministry sequence.
So, Cain is dead.
Yes.
The final fateful one bound with everlasting flesh.
If only he had just accepted our logical ideas too.
A fitting end for someone who had become dominated by needless flesh. Excellent work, Krellin.
Now there is nothing that can stand in the way of us accomplishing our objective.
The anima relics have been awakened and have aligned with their respective animus. Dan, Joseph, Gad have each been aligned with the surface dweller as their animus.
Hygas Asher, Ramses Zebulun, Krelian's Judah, Sophia's dinner.
Reuben, Simeon, Levi and Issachar were already aligned 500 years ago.
And finally, Graph's Naphtali. All of the anima relics have now been activated.
The identity of the persona mask of the Mother has also become clear.
The time has come.
Now it is time to open the door to God's domain to attain the fleshly body and the wisdom of God.
The time of the true awakening, to carry us to new horizons. Yes, the time of the gospel has come.
Now, humans, extol the awakening of God.
During this sequence, they're discussing Cain's death.
Yeah.
And
They're like, so he's dead?
Yeah.
He's dead?
If only he had just accepted our logical ideas too, which these motherfuckers really are the Twitter logic lords,
They're the
right?
logic lords.
Yeah.
They can logic themselves into doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
By using facts and logic.
And yes, they are in fact facts and logic themselves. They're basically just very, very, very complicated Excel formulas.
Yeah. Krellian is there the whole time for this sequence, but he says nothing. At some point he says ...
They say that the anima relics have been awakened and have been aligned with the respective animus. Quick question before we go into this. They wanted the bodies of the animus all along. Was that because they wanted the bodies so that they could then align with the anima relics themselves?
I think so, and they were just convenient that these bodies could align with those relics.
But now that the bodies have aligned with those relics, that still meets their purposes. They just don't have physical bodies
Maybe it skips
yet.
a step.
Yeah. Maybe your logic is fucked up there, boy.
Yeah, we get some anima relic trivia now about the names.
Indeed. Dan, Joseph, and Gad.
Well, they're the names, the 12 children of Jacob in the Hebrew Bible.
Indeed. They are the 12 children and the 13th, his daughter. Because he goes on to say, they go on to say, Huga's Asher, Ramses' Zebulun, Krellian's Judah, and Sophia's Dinah. So Jacob had 12 children. The 12 sons became the 12 tribes of Israel.
Plus the secret 13th one.
Plus, I guess, the secret 13th one, which probably has some sort of significance in Freemasonry or something. Who knows? But that was Sophia's Dinah.
Yes. And then we know from previously that Dan got along with Bartskir, and then it's to assume that Joseph was with Billy and Gad was with Rico.
Yeah.
Unassigned for 500 years ago are Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Issachar. And then Groff has one as well. It's Naphtali?
Yes.
I probably butchered all of those. I apologize.
Close enough. They say the identity of the persona mask of the mother has also become clear.
That's a lot.
I don't know what that is.
Persona is a lot in Perfect Works, and it's not especially relevant. I mean, it is, but it's not. We don't need to worry about it right now.
Okay, we'll cross that bridge. So, now is the time to open the door to God's domain to attend the fleshly body and wisdom of God.
It's fucking metal.
It's a lot. Yeah, that is metal. That's a good way to say it.
Like, these are cult leaders gradually approaching the final day, doing the Reset Smith hand thing where they're getting really excited about this. Like they're like, Jim Jones is mixing the Kool-Aid vat right now and getting very excited, pointing guns at people who are trying to leave.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They say, yes, the time of the gospel has come, and now humans extol the awakening of God.
Yes, now they're going to do the key thing now, by the way.
The key thing finally happens. A key with no handle drops out of this thing.
The Geisha Key, which is a reference to, we talked about this a long time ago, and maybe we'll have to talk about it more down the road, but the key is a reference to an apocryphal book of King Solomon or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say about that.
We'll ask the fake net to give us a refresh.
Sure.
Initializing fake net. From the fandom wiki, the Japanese words say lesser Geisha Key, a reference to the Lesser Key of Solomon, an anonymous 17th century grimoire, which is also known as the Geisha.
I don't know if that's enough. I don't think the fake net can handle the Book of Geisha.
Excuse me.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You doubt my power?
You're going to doubt the fake net's power?
I challenge you, fake net.
Have it your way. I'm quitting this episode right here, asshole.
Better apologize.
Okay.
Apology not accepted. I'm done.
So yeah, once it drops in there, it creates a science mystic hologram.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it, right?
I'm glad you said science mystic hologram, because I sat here in this very seat, I sat here for a few moments trying to describe it, and I just wrote glowing red.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I can rely on you,
It's funny, in my brain, I can't see it, whatever that is right now. I've forgotten, even though I played this 6 hours ago.
Yeah.
And I just wrote science mystic hologram.
This must be the thing that turns people into shit.
Yep, that's kind of what this does.
Yeah.
This you know, if you thought it was bad before, we hit the end game button.
Yeah, you know it's bad because Faye, previously he was narrating to Flight for the most part. Now he's narrating to Omen.
Yes.
That's the song that comes on as Faye gets back in the chair and tells us what's going on.
He says the earth erupted.
Yes, everyone's turning into whales now.
Even those who had not mutated. Yep. Everyone howled.
Yes, indeed. Faye tells us that the Ministry used the Geisha Key. How does he know this? I don't know.
Because the JPEG rotated to a green, goes to Nissan, and everybody's got a green aura where they're mutating.
Yep.
He also says because Ramses killed Cain, so there's like an info network out there.
Yeah, I don't know
how to get this information.
I don't know.
Maybe like Citan tried to buzz in with Cain and was like, it would have to be. He's dead.
That's their only. That's their only link. Yeah, I mean they're pretty intimately ingratiated with like the Shavat militia and the network now. So there's probably a lot of things in this game that they wanted to show us that they didn't get a chance to.
I mean, if Dominia can hear from the outside, maybe it's bugged or something.
Yeah, who knows?
So they said the purpose of the key was to alter those people who had been destined by God.
Yep.
It's a funny way to phrase that.
It is. I think they're trying to say that humans are food for God.
In the screaming with people howling out for God.
Yep, calling out to God.
The Gazel cited the prophecy of Mahanan, the resting place of God, as it awakens and begins to rise as if responding from the call of the people.
Yes, it appeared before us in all its majestic glory.
And then it actually does.
Yep, we go to the world map.
It's fucked up.
There's some silence. Mahanan rises from the ocean.
There's some neat fuzzy effects of water cascading off this mass.
I ask you this question. I know the answer, but I ask you this question. Is this a ship or a floating island? Because it looks like both.
You know, I wondered about that too, because there's plants and kelp and shit, and it looks man-made. But I was like, is that part of the ship, the Eldritch, from the beginning?
Yeah.
This thing that's just been down there the entire time? That has to be finally, we've seen pieces of the Eldritch without knowing it so far.
Yeah.
But this, I think, explicitly is a container from that, maybe?
I think we're there. Then we go back to Faye and Omen playing again, and talks about how, like, he lays it on us right here.
Yeah.
He's like, Solaris, gone. Gazel, gone.
No, he said Gebler, gone.
Gebler, gone, yeah.
He said Gazel sent troops there to obtain God on his wisdom, but that Solaris, they didn't exist anymore, and all that was left was a ton of weapons, but I don't think he means guns. I think he means the food for this object.
I think we're going to find out this later, but I think a lot of the people that were harvested through this process became organic parts for organic weapons.
Yes, that's a better way to state that.
So, yeah, and the Gazel, they have control of these weapons, I guess, somehow.
Yes, commanded by the Gazel. Can we even measure this level of devastation? Do you have like an idea to compare this to?
You mean from like from real life?
I mean, from any kind of other fiction where, where I'm going to just pull a number out of my ass here. 97% of the population gets wiped. I mean, they said the mutations affected everyone, so who didn't get got?
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
It said everyone. Why are we fine? Like, I know why we're fine, right? But we see people later. And
yeah, why is old Mason okay?
Yeah, why does the Tim's captain survive?
Yeah.
Right?
Don't know. Interesting, very interesting question. Maybe we can try to figure it out at some point.
Faye wants to address this in the most cool way possible, but says they have no choice but to confront them at dawn.
Yeah.
We meet at dawn.
Sure, yeah, we meet at dawn.
Our fields.
Yeah.
Bring them.
They assembled all the forces that they could and headed towards Mahanan. I bet there would have been some sort of force assembling side quest here where we had to do some things to prep for this, but...
Yeah, go train up with the final master.
Speaking of Mahanan, by the way, according to the Xenogears wiki, Mahanan is a misspelling of Makanan, which is just missing a C, basically, which is a reference to the fourth heaven, which is where, according to the Book of Enoch, is where the Garden of Eden is housed.
Oh, fourth heaven, of course.
Yeah, the fourth one, yeah.
So not at seventh heaven, which is Tifa's bar.
Yes. Faye makes reference to the fact that he has to stiffen his resolve with her.
Yeah, Faye gets weirdly kind of... Like, I think he suspects that Ellie's going to want to take revenge on something instead of mothering the people of Nissan.
Stiffen.
Are you stiffening your resolve with your fortified bourbon?
Stiffen.
I don't know what fortified means. So then we go to the Yggdrasil.
Yeah, we're in the gun room.
Once we were there, I was like, oh man, I can go finally talk to the doctor. I can talk to Choo Choo.
Yeah.
We're in the gun room and everybody's here, but there is a public fight happening in the back of the gun room next to Billy's standing area.
I love this scene.
It's pretty good.
I think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
Ellie,
This might be my favorite scene on disc 2 so far.
she starts off in what I like to call the pointing pose.
Yeah.
And seems taken aback that, like, Faye has apparently, this is off screen, told her that she ain't coming.
Yeah. She's very upset about this, as she's not allowed to go. And Faye says, this isn't like any other fight. It's a battle for the wisdom created by God. It's life or death. I ask you, Faye, what battle that we have fought during this video game is not a battle for life or death?
Chris cut off the best line. Whoever controls it becomes the true dominator of the world.
Oh, yeah, dominator, yeah.
But
yeah.
Ellie, he tells her it's too dangerous, but doesn't cite why, and then just gives the Awada thing of please understand.
Please understand.
Please understand.
We are never going to re-release Mother 3. You must pirate it to play it. Okay.
Faye's not making a good case here, Chris.
No, he's not. He's concerned with the fact that the gears that they'll be facing are going to be made of humans.
Yeah, and that will make her not want to fight them.
Yeah.
Because women are weak.
I don't think she buys it, and then he flat out says, you're going to be a burden.
Yeah.
Like, which, sure. She then runs away with some footstep sounds.
Yes.
So you know it's serious.
Chris, if you were Faye in this situation, how would you have gotten her? How would you have phrased this better? What would you have told poor Ellie?
Ellie, you are important to more people than just us.
Mm-hmm.
You're important to the remaining 4% of the population of this world. They need you. We're going to be fine. We've got Rico.
Well, yeah, that is an extension of the speech that I planned of, like, Ellie, you've been with me in my battles for the last 5 days. Over in the corner is Maria. That's Rico. That's Choo Choo. I haven't talked to them in months. I keep buying them new shit. They're ready to go. You can sit just this one battle out.
They need EXP, man. They need it.
Yeah, there at least probably. Although there is like some weird auto leveling in this game, right? Like people's levels just jump.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's weird to play a single video game over the course of like 7 months.
Yeah,
so it's weird. So the next note I have is what the fuck is the song? I thought the song that was playing was brand new, but it's not.
No, it's not. I thought it was a brand new song as well.
I think the last time we heard it was during one of the Maria sequences.
Yeah, it is important to note that everyone was watching this shit happen.
Yeah, everyone's here.
And that the thing that finally jammed her transmission was, like you said, Faye suggesting it was organic parts and things that happened to Hammer and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Gathering Stars in the Night Sky begins to play.
Yes, we previously heard that as Maria's song.
Yep. Even Bart. Even Bart. Is like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah. He's like, dude, you went a little bit too far there.
Faye explains.
Titan says, relax, dude.
Yeah. Even Titan kind of tells Faye it was too harsh, but Faye tries to explain himself, and he says that he did the John Lithgow thing from Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, dude.
Where he
I don't like thinking about that movie. I don't like the way Harry looks.
Where he basically is admitting that he was harsh on purpose in order to convince Ellie not to go.
He had to be the asshole and like make her so emotionally upset she overloaded and went back to her room crying.
He was willingly the asshole.
Oh, so the man knows what's right for the lady.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So Faye tried, so you're telling me Faye tried to hit her with logic and reason.
Yeah.
And was supremely confident that he did things this correct way.
Yeah, he's wrong. And he's so wrong that Bart jumps on the fucking table.
Yeah, Margie calls him out, and Bart jumps on the table and does some very Bart stuff.
He says, if I were you, I'd hold her tight and say, let's go together, just like that. Bart.
Get off the goddamn dinner table, Bart.
Get off the table, Bart. That's not how this shit works.
Who tells him that that's not how it works? Mason. From out, like, behind the bar says not to overdo it.
Yeah, Mason comes out of nowhere.
You're fucking kidding me. What the fuck are you doing?
And tells Bart not to overdo himself. And then Bart eventually arrives at the point to where his advice for Faye is express your feelings in words.
Yes.
Which there are only two ways to express your feelings, words and or actions. Mm-hmm. Faye, use words.
He just tried to use words and he didn't use the right ones.
Titan says, express your feelings, right? Which, if you subscribe to patreon.com/retroam, you might understand that Titan maybe sometimes has a different way of expressing his feelings.
Yeah. They hit up Faye with a bunch of stuff about being true to himself.
Indeed.
And I think that's where our chapter ends. Or at least where we can go to a save point and end the chapter, because that's exactly what I did. And we were at above Mahanan?
Question.
Yeah, what's
I didn't know there was a save point.
Yeah, you can walk over. It's in the gun room.
I didn't do that. I kept going. I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Is this really... Okay.
I mean, so I didn't play anything else, so...
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, you saved right here.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done, because the chapter changed.
The chapter literally changed?
Yeah. We are in above Mahanan now.
Oh, well then I played more. So before you go, so before we talk about
Jesus, you played all this last night?
Yeah.
God damn.
I kept going.
How late did you stay up?
It's not that much longer, but I saw this. Okay, so.
Ooh, spoilers.
Before you go to the save point, though, you can talk to your party.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Yeah. You regain control of Faye, and you can talk to everybody, and mostly everybody's like, go get her, Faye. Go do the right thing, bro. You know, they're doing the things that your bros do to you when your girlfriend runs off crying because you're a dick.
Yeah.
Except for 2 characters. Choo Choo says, don't you worry about me. Please hurry and go to her. Which is the same thing, but, you know, it's Choo Choo. Everyone has some advice, even Rico. Rico says, Hammer used to tell him to be nice to women. Which is not great advice, but okay. I mean, it's good to be nice to all people.
Yeah.
But whatever. And the best line, if you go talk to Old Mason, which I had to
search. Oh boy, that old codger.
I had to search for Old Mason because I was not quite sure about where he was. Because he's not around the table like the rest of them.
He's back behind the bar, right?
He's behind the bar.
Yeah, that's where he works.
And you go back to him, and I go talk. I went and talked to everybody, and everybody basically had something generic to say. I expected Mason to have something generic to say as well, but he said, very honestly, I'm not well versed in the art of romance.
You're going to die. I smoked marijuana for once, and I laughed for 5 hours.
And he left it at that.
Wow.
So Mason's like, you know what? I'm not an expert here. I'm an old codger, you know.
Sir, I'm in my 60s. Do you see a lady around or a man?
I think this means that maybe Mason is not heteronormative.
It's a possibility.
And he's like, I'm not going to give you advice for women because I don't.
Or just asexual, period. Like not interested in either.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the end of the chapter then. I've got like 3 more pages of notes. So we'll talk about those next time we meet, Eric.
Before we started, Chris is like, yeah, it's going to be 2. I'm like, I don't know. It's going to be 2.
No? Okay. It's not going to be true. That's why when I said that, okay. Great.
Sorry, Chris. We have any RealNet?
Yeah, let's consult the Hello RealNet. Okay.
Initializing RealNet.
Seth finds it interesting that Rico's dungeon is actually far more organic and caveman-like, which is great.
Damn it.
Wonderful. Appreciate that. It actually makes him wonder if it was from the beginning of, or before Zeboim, or if it was from immediately after, which is a spoiler, I guess, but it's probably before because we know it's 10,000 years old. So I think we did figure that out.
Maybe. Well, the thing's been here for 10,000 years, right? Maybe they built something around it at different points of civilization.
But were those frogmen hiding in these caves?
Oh.
And they survived those wars and they kept their society going?
Last Crusade, like the knight?
Yeah.
Everything is basically Last Crusade.
Yep. Could have been a Days of Collapse thing too. Interesting point too. I think we went on a weird tangent about Breath of the Wild, but some of the people that worked on Xenogears, at least the studio that worked on Xenogears,
they helped.
They helped with
Monolith did, I think, some tech help with the large open world type stuff. Because if you played Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade, like there's some big open world and relatively underpowered hardware there. I'm sure they did contract work on stuff. I don't even know the specifics, but I remember hearing they did.
Apparently, one of the houses in the Breath of the Wild is a shout out to Saiten's house, designed the exact same way. And you know what? I'm just now making that connection, but there's a lot of like fucking junk houses in that game. So.
Cartoon junk houses, and one could easily be. I still see even years later people. I think it wasn't until relatively recently that they found the Wind Waker house in Breath of the Wild, or the Wind Waker village.
Yeah, there's a lot of real subtle references in that game. It's great.
I'd play that game again if I had infinite time.
Carfo says, when I first played this, I felt legit bad about Hammer, and I still kind of do, even though the reasons he betrayed Faye make less sense when you play when we play through this game as adults.
Yeah. Hammer's a sympathetic figure, ultimately, I think.
I think he is, just because he
had personality.
Yeah, actually, that's probably the best point there. He had a personality, and he didn't, even though he just wanted raw power, you still kind of feel sorry for him, because like he's a fucking hamster the whole game.
Yeah, if he perhaps wasn't raised in a prison system, perhaps he would have had a better self-esteem.
Everyone agrees with the glitch in that column room sucks ass.
Yep.
Seth says the ideal party in much of this game is Billy and Saiten or Billy and Emeralda.
Because of the pure speed.
Faye needs to be equipped for Ether build with Holy Pendant and in System Id all the time. Saiten needs to be using level 3 Death Blows. If you're lucky, he will go Infinity. Billy needs to use Ether equips but use physical attacks. That's what you have to do in order to beat Hammer.
I was going to say, imagine if you wrote a GameFAQs post and then 10 years somebody will use it on a podcast.
Yeah, true. Holy Pendant apparently affects Infinity mode, according to Carfo, which I guess increases its % chance for likelihood.
Because if you look on the gear stats, it'll tell you your percent chance for actually achieving infinity mode. And for me, it was always 5 to, I think, no more than 5% in the battles that I tried anyway.
Some conversation about Citan being overpowered, which I kind of agree with because I used him a lot here. He's so powerful. He goes so quickly, especially when he's on foot.
It's the whole game.
Yep. But it actually makes sense from a narrative perspective.
Yeah, why would be?
Yeah.
Let's give the most powerful guy in the game a sword.
Yeah, sure. Let's make him better. You can manipulate the power crisis, which gives you more damage as your
health drops.
Health goes low, and the dark
on face still.
Yeah, and the dark long coat, which you get from beating Big Joe in speed. So it's pretty good.
Dark long coat? I think you mean long dark coat.
Long dark coat. Yeah, you're right. Everybody hates Hammer's death. Dent D, Carfo, and Seth all hate it because it's sad as shit. Good comment here from Seth. Krellian and Miang have totally gaslit Ramses.
Yeah, dude.
That's probably a better word to describe that scenario in which than what we did. Carfo says, I think regarding the usage of the word Ramses, I think the project of growing him, essentially Carfo is saying that he thinks that Ramses is just an explicit, a way to bubble up that explicit reference of Ramses, even though I guess, I don't know what the original script said, but I don't think they need to be so on the nose with that.
Xenogears, I don't think they need to be so on the nose with that.
Yeah, probably all of it. Carfo remembers seeing that most or at least half the population was converted into Wells via the Geisha Key. From what he understands, the fact that the entire party and company weren't turned into Wells is basically luck.
It would have been interesting to have one of our party members get mutated.
Yeah, or Old Mason or something.
Yeah, or Old Mason. Someone we were close
shit.
to.
Oh my God.
Oh man, yeah, if he was shriveled and ugh.
Yeah, this is a really good point from Dent D. She says, I liked seeing Faye and Ellie get it on, but not in the context of having a fight where Faye suddenly develops a case of benign sexism, which is kind of what he did, where he's like, well, stay behind because of that. That's all I got for the Real Net. There's a lot of good comments here. I hope that Eric edits them down to a condensed format because
thank you, Real Net.
There's a lot of good Real Net stuff here. Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe to this podcast so that we know that you exist, and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. No, Apple Podcast.
What are you looking at me for? I don't know.
Patreon.com/RetroAM if you would like to support us. Even $1 can get you in this fucking chat room.
It's kind of aggressive. Chris, can you try that again?
This fucking chat room. These cool people in the chat room listening on their phones.
Chat room is a 90s term. I think you mean a Discord server.
Discord's a chat room. Follow us on Twitter at RetroAmnesia Pod. Follow us on Twitter. Thank you, Mark, for the intro track and the outro track, even though you didn't write it. Thank you, Mitsuda, for the outro track.
Thanks, Mitsuda.
Yeah, thank you. So, until next time.
Yes, we will kill God.
Now you may go back to sleep. Email is the new fax machine. Carfa wants to know our ICQ number. Did you ever have ICQ?
No, straight aim.
Oh.
Did you?
Yeah, I had ICQ. Because I was a part of an online community on like the old, on Diablo 1. So we used ICQ to communicate.
Sorry, my online communities were around Final Fantasy.
Or that one TV show.
Second Heaven?
With Justin Timberlake's wife.
What?
Seventh Heaven.
Britney Spears?
No.
He's not married to Britney Spears?
Jessica Biel.
Why'd I think about that?
Jessica Biel.
Shit, my brain's fucked. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still married to Jessica Biel. I don't do that celebrity stuff.
Well, he had a cheating scandal 6 months ago, Chris. Oh. Trust me, I read Globe 3 weeks ago.
I did not know that. I apologize for not knowing that. This is not a comprehensive podcast.
Shame on you, Justin.
Yep, sure. Oh, there's a lot. I'm just going to read stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot.
I will edit it into a concise form.
Thank you. Oh, here's a nice comment. I'm just going to read this because it's nice. Carfo wants to say, I just want to point out that not having listened to a podcast being recorded live, the average viewer, me, probably hasn't realized how much effort goes into editing this.
Yeah.
And that listening to it live without knowing how much editing goes into it is a testament to how good the editing is. So good job, Eric. Eric does 99% of that stuff. So
it's very time intensive.
I do the effects and the noise gating and stuff, and then Eric does all of the creative stuff. So shout out to Eric, who's sitting right here. Fucking shit, dude.
We can probably skip the email from now on. Only one person's done that ever.
No one emails us. Produced. Please check it out. It's awesome.
You should have said and instead of or.
No, I want you to check them all out.
Okay.
When I write my logical function, it includes the and. Check it all out. Get it all. How are we going to do this one if our podcast becomes larger and we have like 12 listeners? Because that was 3 and that was a lot. Yeah.
You don't see a body. Show me the body.
Yeah. Pony up that money there.
Man.
Nintendo, I guess. Nintendo? Buy it from Sony.
Square. Square would own that.
Give it to Square. Nintendo give money to Square. Get the game. Get the rights. And then let...
It's totally worth Monolith's time.
It's totally worth their time. All 8 of us will buy it. Okay. So... If our Patreon ever reaches $1,000, we're going to hire note takers.
Oh, man. I don't... What, like someone to sit beside me and I dictate to them?
Yeah, no, we'll stream our progress and have somebody take notes. Dictate our comments.
That seems like it'd be way harder.
Yeah, it would. I would rather just take my notes. I like formatting my notes. It's fun. It's relaxing. Okay.
So sir, I couldn't possibly comment on these things.
I don't have a penis. Fade.